Man is a creature of habits, and it is only natural that the best way you can develop your personal life, your professional life, or your relational life is by developing routines, because these routines go a very long way to define your character and they exert an invisible force on your behavior. So whatever we do is a function of our practices, what you decide to do on a daily basis, the little details that you put in place to structure the course of your life is what ultimately defines what your behavior is. So the best way to achieve any worthwhile goal is to train ourselves to do things that will lead to the goal effortlessly. So whatever plans it is that you have, whatever goal you've set for yourself, whatever result you want to achieve, there are little steps. There's a protocol around breaking these things down into little steps that would help you achieve them even quicker. All right. So you need to learn how to break the journey to your goal, to the result that you want, down into little steps. And by breaking them down into little steps, you can then take on these tasks one after another until you ultimately achieve your goal. All right. There are basically 7 areas where we all need to pay attention if we want to become highly effective people, just like Stephen Covey said. All right. 7 areas. First, you need to choose to be proactive rather than reactive. Okay, you need to be on the goal. You don't want to always respond to situations. You want to be able to be the one that triggers a certain response instead of being the one that responds to a situation. All right, it's really, really important. You need to visualize the end of any endeavor before you undertake it. Okay, so if you want to carry out a course of action, this is not always consistent with every course of action you want to carry out, but most times you need to be able to develop a system that helps you picture the end that you're looking to get to even before you start it. What this does is it kind of gives you a motivation to keep thriving for what you have envisaged for the future. So even though you get tired in the now, the fact that you have a mental picture of where you're headed will keep you motivated and keep you working to get that result. Okay, that's very, very important if you want to become a highly effective person. The next thing you want to do is you want to schedule your priorities instead of prioritizing your schedule. Okay, so you need to, like we said, define where you're going to and then know what is a priority. Economists will call it a scale of preference. All right, so you determine what is more important. Once you've had that structure of what is more important, all right, systematic structure of what is more important, you then begin to schedule how you can carry out these things according to the level of importance. You don't create a schedule and then start to prioritize what and what. No, you create your priorities and then create a schedule to help you execute what these priorities are. Okay, and then you need to seek what is beneficial for everyone involved. This is how to be a team player. You need to look at the grand scheme of things. You need to look at the ultimate outcome of anything that you're involved in. You need to make sure that every course of action benefits everybody and is essentially for the greater good. That's one of the ways for you to be very, very effective as an individual. All right, and then you need to try to understand others first so that they can understand you. Human beings are reciprocal animals, as you were. People tend to give what you give to them. Now, this is not even something that a lot of people plan. That's why questions like rebellion are most often than not premeditated, not accidental, but reciprocity is as it just happens. All right, people do not need to think of it. Say, for example, you're walking on the road and you say good morning to somebody that does not know you and does not have anything against you. The first response they give back to you is good morning. You give them greetings, they greet you back. Human beings are naturally reciprocal in nature. For you to say hi to somebody and the person does not respond to you, the person has already meditated upon responding to you, maybe owing to an offense or an argument or a dispute that is existing. But the natural response of everybody, every human being, the first response of every human being is reciprocity. So if you give people understanding, they are naturally obliged to give you understanding too. So if I'm talking to you and then you're listening, the next thing that comes to my mind people that have strength in their character, of course, the next thing that comes to my mind is to listen to you when you're talking. So I don't have to command that. You naturally just give it to me, because when you were talking, I listened to you. So human beings are naturally reciprocal in nature, except of course there is a trigger that changes how they view things and they begin to act differently. Okay, so if you want to get understood, you need to first be understanding. All right, that's it. And then you also need to work with others to achieve exponential results. Now, I know that a lot of people soak themselves in this idea of being a lone ranger, but while that works for some persons, if you look at the grand scheme of things, being alone is really not good for you, because you can achieve more results if you are with more persons. All of these concepts are relative, but you need to be able to work with people. If you are in a setting where you have to work with people, you need to bring yourself to a position where this work is carried out effectively, so that everybody that is involved can benefit the best result from it. And then if there's any lapse, it doesn't come from you. And if at all there's going to be a lapse, put yourself in a position to cover up that lapse and make sure that the best results for everybody is achieved. Okay, so that's another thing you need to look at. And then you need to understand that you have to keep an effective system running. Just like what we said when we started, human beings are a creature of routine. If people know what to do, they know what step to follow, it is easier to keep them in order. Keeping a system running kind of brings order to any system. Okay, everything has a process, everything has a procedure, everything is systematic. We do this, we do that, we do. So everybody knows what to do at what point in time, and that's really one of the ways that you can keep any system running, one of the ways that you can achieve maximum result for anything you decide to get involved with. Okay, now the hardest and most important part of all of what we have mentioned here is to be willing and ready to implement sustainable changes in your life. All right, you need to be willing. All of these things are awesome advices, they're awesome tips, they're awesome pointers to how you can get better results for your life. But the most important thing for you to note is that you need to be willing to put all of these things in place. Okay, now real change comes from inside out, not outside in. Okay, things that happen on the outside might affect you to a great extent, but anything that happens from within you gets to affect everything that is that's outside you. So you need to be very deliberate about putting in measures to carry out these changes and get the results that you have written, that you've talked about. Okay, now a lot has been written on how to be successful, on how to improve your life, and how to act on it, going far back as years, centuries before we were born. Okay, but then you must understand that all of this information cannot benefit you until you are willing to get better results for yourself. Okay, it is important for you to understand that. Thank you so much. I believe this has helped you. If this has helped you, you want to click on that subscribe button and turn on post notification for when we bring up another personal development video. My name is Solomon Bartholomew. Until I see you in the next video, so long and have the most amazing day, guys.